Drove and see the nightlife where they call Atlanta. Southside shows for a couple dollars, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
This is the Brew Party Podcast, episode number 53. We're celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the Brew Party. Couldn't think of anybody better to help me do that. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only. It's the return of the Biz, the notorious Biz. Biz80, fresh off his new release of his 2-pack, Willis, joins the Brew Party Podcast. He's incredibly handsome, incredibly good with the words, with the music. Nick, thank you so much for being here, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I feel great to be back. Gotta say that. It's been a year. It's been a year of this whole going on, and I was on about a year ago. So, right after, I was one of the first, and you guys have done a lot since then, And I just have seen how it's changed and grown a lot. It's way more professional now. It's still funny, and it's still. But you know what you're doing. You definitely know what you're doing now. It's awesome.
Yeah, well, don't lie to everybody that's listening to this. But yeah, man, it's great. I mean, I think the same thing goes for you with your music. You have 4 new releases released since we've talked last, and they are definitely different from your original album. We're gonna get into that here really quickly. I guess my first question is gonna be, who the hell is Willis?
Willis. Willis is I just like that from that show. What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Willis? And in my family, we always said that if someone was being a dumbass, if anyone was in our family being a dumbass, we said, what you talking about, Willis? So that's what I was. And then I used that skit in the song. At the end of the song, I used a skit from that show at the end of the song, and then so that's why I didn't know what else to call it besides Willis. Oh, Willis is what it was called.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about your music a little bit. So obviously you started the last time you were here, like you said, about a year ago. I think it's a little less than a year, because the last time I was holding Carson when he was tiny like this for half the interview, rocking him, and now he's walking around about to be a year old. So from there, your music has changed. So you go from the introvert to extrovert to you release Dose Pies and Hollow, and then now on to Willis. So how is the production changed? How has your writing changed? Your process for going about your music, has that changed at all over time? And then, especially with
yeah, totally. I think that I think when I'm writing it, a lot of it is, I think of the song first, I guess. It's kind of how I think of it. I think of a cool sample I'd want to use, a song that I want to use, and how I would want to use it, how I'd want it to sound in a beat. And then I had that made, and then whatever that kind of makes, right? However that kind of emotion makes, ends up kind of being what I write about, right? So, I'll have lyrics that and a lot of it has to do with kind of just how I'm doing at the time, what I'm feeling at the time, I'm feeling that day that I wrote it at that time. And sometimes I grab a lyric that I wrote a year ago that I like, and I like it for this beat, so maybe it's how I was feeling a year ago, but I still liked it at that time, or sometimes because I have notes in my phone, from I was writing lyrics in high school, so I have lyrics that are really bad, I have lyrics that are good, and I try to find good ones and make sure the beat, works with what I'm saying. And I guess that's kind of how I put it together. And so things have changed because, I've just changed a lot, since the last time I was writing, right? I think that the last time I was writing, I didn't know what I was doing maybe a little bit more, and was maybe a little more sad of a human being at the time, So, but I think now, it's really more just about the music. I'm not trying to get anything out now. I'm just kind of trying to make a good song every time, and spend time on those songs and make the song as good as I can. Right.
So when you're writing, like, so you just like walk in, let's say, or like working or like walking down the street in Chicago and you like see something or think of something and you just like write it down and that's kind of how you piece your songs together. It's not really like,
So I do. So it's like that. Like I'll have a lot of lines from a couple weeks ago that I wrote, right? That I just hit me when I'm walking down the street, right? But then also I'll sit around and I'll write to a whole beat. Once I have a beat that I like, I'll write to the whole beat. I just might, if I have a line, I'm like, I'm talking about this. I wrote a cool line about this subject that I'm talking about right now yesterday. I'll go grab that line. I'll be like, let's see if I can make it work or make something like it work in this song. You know what I'm saying? And I can't hear you. Oh, yeah.
I was muted. Yeah, I opened my beer and I didn't want it to interrupt you talking. And of course, I forgot. But yeah, man. So that's cool, dude. So like, how long does it take you, start to finish like one song? I'm sure it's different for each thing. And like, after you record it once, I'm sure you're like, okay, let me go back and try this again. Like, how long is that process for you, and how picky are you when it comes to that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'm definitely picky. I work with some guy who helps me with the mixing and mastering engineer. His name's Lonray. He's a good guy, and me and him will sit there and try to make every little thing sound good. And it takes a long time. It takes a long time, and it's hard, and it can get tedious sometimes. But it makes a huge difference on how it sounds. And so I really try to. And what was the other part of the question? I forgot.
Fuck.
You forget too?
Yeah. No. So how long does it take you? How long does it take? Like what?
Oh,
and
yeah. How long does it take? Yep. I think sometimes it takes not that long. Sometimes I could write a song in 15 minutes. Sometimes I'll have an idea for a long time, or I'll have something that I want to talk about for a long time, but not really know how. And sometimes it doesn't. Like I have a song on that first album, Angels and Demons, right? And I had this idea. I was like, I always liked the song Damien by DMX. He has a conversation, like him having a conversation with the devil, right? But it's not scary really. It's funny kind of song, and it's cool. And it's cool how he's doing it with the lyrics, right? Making a story. So I had a song called Angels and Demons on my last album, on Introvert Extrovert, that I always wanted to like have it sound like there was a demon on your shoulder, like how you get like in old school or in different movies, like a demon, or Hercules, they'll have a demon on your shoulder, they'll have an angel on your other shoulder. I always thought that would be cool to have a song like you hear it like this, you hear like this, and you hear me in the middle, right? So and I had the idea for a long time, and I still think I could do it better than I did it, but I like that song, and maybe I'll try again sometime long way away. But I always thought that was just thinking different ideas, and that song took years to make. I thought that idea when I was a kid, and then I figured it out later,
Yeah, man, I get that. So when hold on, actually, what happened to Freddie Buns? You said you're working with a new producer. Where's Freddie Buns at?
Oh, Freddie Buns. Shout out Freddie Buns, man. Freddie Buns, he was in Indianapolis, man. And I live in Chicago now. But Freddie Buns, he was the first time I was at a studio was with Freddie Buns. And it was just me and him in there. I was by myself with Freddie Buns, and I didn't know that man at all. And he showed me how to use all the stuff and use all the machines and stuff, and kind of show me what he was doing a little bit. So always shout out Freddie Buns, but I haven't talked to Freddie Buns in a while, man. But he's still killing it. I still am working with a producer I met in Muncie, Indiana. I still work with him. His name's Keith, and he's still making good beats for me. That he was the beat on Spell on You. He did that beat, and he beat on Willis too. So those two beats I like a lot, and he made my idea into what it was. So that was cool.
Shout out Keith. So you
Mhm.
talked about the studio. I mean, with the quarantine and everything, I mean, especially the restrictions in Illinois, I mean, Chicago, how did
Mhm.
that affect your making of these songs? I mean, so now it's what, 4 songs released in the past couple months. Was this
Mhm.
recording from home, or were you actually able to get in the studio and get with your producer?
Yeah, so usually how I'll do it is I'll have like a rough version recorded. I'll have in my house. You know what I'm saying? What up, Chase? But I'll have a rough version recorded on my phone or at a or my roommate has a studio too in his room. So sometimes we record in there, but usually have it like a rough draft on my phone, right? And then I can go to the studio and actually make it sound like it's not recorded on a phone. Try to make it sound better. And then, but at least have the idea so I can go in there and I can get it done. I don't have to waste anybody's time. And I can. But during the quarantine, I mean, I've had more time to do it. I've had more time. I've been working from home. I still have I work at guaranteed rate. I still have a job as a recruiter there, so I can work from home doing that, and then I can work on music too. And my roommate makes music. He's a pretty cool guy, and yeah, and it's more time to think and do whatever. You've done. Obviously, the brew party maybe wouldn't be as going if it wasn't for quarantine. So we had
That's
more
true, man.
time.
I
We had more
had
time.
I was going like at the peak of it when I really had nothing to do,
Right.
sometimes 3 times a week, and it's all I was doing really. So it really helped out a lot. Now
Right.
that I'm back to work, it's not anything serious back to work, 3 days a week, but it's still like, all right, I have this one day to do this, or it's going to get stretched out over all of this stuff. So a listener comment here from our good buddy Grant Baker, first time Biz hopped
Oh,
on the mic, said he
yeah,
was
read that.
nervous. Biz, do you still get nervous, or is it more relaxed now? So yeah, what
Yeah,
is that like now that you have, this experience under your belt?
Mhm.
Pretty decent. I mean, not a huge discography, but like it's getting up there now.
Yeah, and more is coming, and I got more made. It just hasn't been out yet, so and it will. But yeah, that's a good question. I the first time I recorded, I definitely was nervous, and you can hear that I'm nervous in it, and I think times I'm not nervous. I don't get nervous now. I get excited now, maybe, but if I can't get it right, sometimes I'm not nervous, but I'll get aggravated. I'll get irritated if I'm trying to get the whole verse at the same time and I'm trying to get it just right, and I'll keep doing it until I get it right, So, but that's not nervous. That's aggravated because I like it and I want to make it good, But not really nervous. No, not anymore. But I definitely was at first, for sure.
What's the feeling like when you step behind that microphone for the first time? I'm sure it's different. Obviously, if you said you're recording into your phone to get a little, but I'm sure it's got to be like an incredible feeling. It's got to be like an athlete, like stepping onto the field, like, or stepping up to the free throw line to hit a big shot. Like when you're behind that mic, do you just feel like unstoppable?
Yeah, it's like and that's the thing. I don't want to ever take it for granted because I didn't do it for so long and when I wanted to, and I think that I still get excited and I still am like grateful, that I get to do it and like still excited and like still, it's still butterflies. Not nervous, but like excited, It's a different feeling but similar. And I think that that first time I was bad and I was confused and I was nervous, but I definitely felt like that's not the last time I was doing that,
Yeah,
it was just like, hey, you got to figure this out because you like to do it. So that's all it really was. Because you could hear songs that I've never released that are way worse than any song I have released, and I don't love every song I've released anymore, So
yeah,
that's what it is.
Do you still have some favorites from the
Yeah, I still love.
Extrovert?
Yeah. I still love it, and I hope people still like him, and they're still, I still like I'm just I just learned a lot, since then, and I hear things that maybe other people don't, or things like that.
Yeah, I mean it's the same with podcasting. Like when I'm
Totally.
going in and meticulously editing out every breath, a little sound that like I'm probably the only one really paying attention to, but I'm still like it's gotta be out of there. I'm sure that's very similar for you. Let's talk a little bit about Hollow and Dose Pies. So Dose Pies was a video game trailer, is that right?
Dose Pies, yeah. So yeah, there was a video game trailer made with it. It wasn't an official release, but a fan made it, and then I released it. Yeah. Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
all right.
That's what that was. Yeah, he told me that this song, when he heard it, it reminded him of God of War. Told him it reminded him of God of War. He said it sounded like God of War, it felt like God of War, so he made the God of War trailer with it. And it timed out with the beats pretty good. Yeah. You know how everything kind of like was mixed and how their pictures were edited out. So it looked real. It looked like it was perfect. But no, I'm not gonna lie and say it was real. When it wasn't. I mean, or like that it was it's real, but it wasn't from that that company or whatever.
Yeah, I got you. But I thought that was really cool though. I mean, either way, it's cool. Either way it's cool.
Right. And there'll be more video stuff coming. I'm starting to think of like cool ideas to put with the songs, like music videos or cartoons, videos, little things. So that stuff will be coming.
Yeah.
It'll be cool.
Absolutely, man. So like I feel like when Hollow and Those Pies were released was like really when it was like, all right, this is different like from what you were doing before. Like it's like
I was curious kind of what people would think,
Right. So it was more folk. I don't want to say, I don't know. It was like the beats were, I don't want to say harder, but like they were ramped up a little bit. You had that guitar in there. And then I feel like lyrically, like you were trying to do something different than you were in the introverted extrovert. So like, what was your mindset like going into that where you're like, I'm trying to like reinvent myself here, or just like kind of trying to show like, something different, some variety or whatever?
I think that a lot of it was, maybe showing some variety for sure. Greg Huss, how are we? Good to see you. You've definitely now you've been mentioned, but
no, we've been talking about Greg the whole time. That's actually been our only topic of conversation has been Greg Huss and that incredible picture he posted on Instagram.
Brew party titled Greg Huss, featuring me.
Yeah, Greg, I do want to get you on the brew party here to talk some baseball at the beginning of the year if you and your co-host James Nelligan would enjoy that. But we're talking to Biz80 right now about his music.
Shout out the Growing Cubs podcast.
Yeah, shout out Growing Cubs. Any baseball fan or any Cubs fan especially, they do the best work online. They get hashtag, well, not usually mad.
If you're a Cubs fan and you're not listening to the Growing Cubs podcast, honestly, fuck you.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm not a Cubs fan, and I listen to them. So what are you doing?
I'm a Cardinals fan, and I tune in. They get the top
so what are
prospects.
You doing?
They get the top prospects in the Cubs system and talk to them, talk about them. They do a lot of rankings, a lot of good stuff, a lot of analysis from Greg and Jimmy, two guys that are more into minor league baseball than I think anybody I know. So that's
anyone that I know by far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Head and shoulders more than anyone I know. So why not get it from people who know what they're talking about?
The source, baby. Back to your music. Back to your music. What are you looking forward to most? Is there an album coming this year, or is it more of these 2.5 packs, or whatever you like?
I think that more 2-packs are gonna come. I think maybe at the end I'll have them all in an album. But I'm gonna keep releasing them 2 at a time. I think that especially me being newer, and I'm not like Chance the Rapper or something, like every time I drop 2, there's not millions of people trying to find me, So I think that 2 is the best people for new people to find me. You know, 2 is a perfect little taste of me. You know, a little taste of my music. You're like, oh, I like it. Maybe I'll play it over and over. You know, 2 is a perfect little amount. And then at the end, once all the 2-packs are done, I got a lot more 2-packs coming. And then once the 2-packs are done, maybe I'll release it all as an album. But for right now, 2-packs will come for a little bit longer.
I like that you said get a little taste, because that's what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say. Just get a little taste. But another comment, Greg. 1, you guys are the best. 2, when are you going to remix It's Going Down by Young Jock?
Greg, I can remix. If you need that in your life, you need a Biz80 remix of It's Going Down. I can make that just for you tonight. I'll send it just to you, and we'll make it happen.
Comment from Lexi Hall. I heard Greg has a pretty hot fiance too.
Shout out Lexi Hall.
Yeah, shout out Lexi.
I don't know who his fiance is, but probably. Because Greg is an astonishing looking human being.
I thought it was a dude, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, still pretty hot. Just kidding.
Lucas
Lexi,
Wilson, how are we?
Lexi, you're beautiful. All right, Lucas Biz, thank you for being here, Luke. Another good question from Grant. What is the drink of choice in the studio for you? Yeah, like let's get into that. What's the inspiration like? How do you hype yourself up before you going in there? Is it a drink? Or are you smoking some ganja with Giannis, or like what is it?
Yeah, sometimes sometimes it depends on kind of what I'm doing. Sometimes it's like if it's a song that I'm trying to get excited, I might have a Monster. I might go in there with a Monster and just get real hyped up on Mountain Dew and scream until my eyes bleed, you know. Sometimes, you know, if it's like Dos PAs, it's called Dos PAs. But
sorry, I keep calling it pies.
No, but it looks like I like that. I wanted people to call it that on accident. We'll just call it Dos Pies. Let's do it. Dos Pies. But like Dos Pies, you know, maybe some ganja for Dos Pies because it's a little more relaxing. Sometimes I'll be sober as a saber, you know. Sometimes I'll be drunk.
Shout out sober sabers.
Shout out
that was
sober
incredible. Sabers. That was incredible.
You know, sometimes I'll be sober as a saber. You never know. So it just depends on what I'm doing and with the song. Really, it depends on the song and what I'm trying to make it feel like. And or sometimes I just accidentally drank and I wanted to go to the studio and maybe I'll be drunk that day. But or sometimes I'll be sober because I forgot to buy beer, you know. It just depends. But it kind of just depends on the day.
Yeah. So what's the studio look like when you're in there? Is it like a lot of people, or is it really just you and your producer? Or like do you like having that energy around?
I do a little both. So I think sometimes I'll have a lot of people in there. You know, lately you can't have as many people in there, right, because of COVID. But I'll have maybe like at most like 5 people lately, you know, and Lonray, so my engineer, so 6, and me, so 7. So 7 of us, you know, that's if I want people to hear it, you know, if I'm trying to get a vibe of how people feel about it. But like if I'm really starting the song and it's really, I don't know what I'm doing with it yet, I'm still trying to figure it out, or still messing around with the beat or something, you know, that'll just be me and Lonray probably, you know, me and my engineer, me and him just mixing it, you know, just trying to perfect it. Cause, you know, he's really good at understand what I'm saying, understand what I'm hearing. Am I trying to get out and doing it, you know, and making it happen. Cause, you know, I'm not good with all the plugins and stuff and all the mixing gear. I don't know that stuff like he does. You know, I don't know, you know, in Logic, I don't know every little beat, every little sound. You know, he's good at finding what I'm trying to get, you know, and making it sound exactly how I wanted it or really close, you know.
So do you do all the ad libs and like when it's, you know, you hear on your tracks like multiple times, or it goes like a super deep voice or something like that? Like, is that all you where he just like mixes it?
Yeah, everything, all my new 4 songs, every word has been me, except unless it's a skit, you know. So every sound's me. I'll be in there talking deep. I'll be in there getting, you know. I think that I've just gotten a lot more creative, kind of with all the options that I can do now, you know, and I'm like, oh, I can mess with my voice, or I can mess with the song, or I can mess with the panning in the ears. I can mess with, you know, I can scream in an ad lib but still make it quiet. You know, that's stuff I've been thinking about, you know. It's like the littlest things to make the verses sound better. Because I think a lot of times lately, I think people get bored of just a verse now, you know, or just like, I think people get bored with that now. And I think that those little things to make it more entertaining and give it a little bit more versatility, or you know, I think is important.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So let's get to this comment from Greg. This is, where do you think you rank all-time Brew Party guest list?
Yeah, so let's be honest here. So I know that I was...
You're still the number one. Your episode is still the number one downloaded.
Yeah, I was about to say, until this Barstool guy was on the other day, I thought that I was number one.
Okay, so technically by podcast downloads, you're number one.
Okay.
By video views, like live stream views, he's number one.
But that was a different time.
That was
time. But I mean, we're not gonna hit 5,000.
You're like OG. Yeah, I know that. That's true.
But we're OG. Like, I'm OG Brew Party.
OG number one.
Right.
Original. I mean, anybody that's been here, anybody that decides to come on this dumbass show and talk to me, I thoroughly enjoy, thoroughly thank. But yeah, as far as like when we were about a year ago, is like your episode was when it really got rolling. So yeah, I always thank you for that. So Greg, I mean, you and Jimmy are up there as well. We have an all-time clip. One of my favorite clips from this show is asking Greg if a hot dog is a sandwich. I mean, obviously I had Jimmy, his co-host, back on to interview Alex Ola with me. Talked to fucking Ryan Held, who was in the Olympics, Alex Menard, reality TV star from Naked and Afraid and The Amazing Race. But you're right up there. You're right up there, dude. You had more downloads than any of them. So let's talk about, like, so what kind of music have you been listening to during quarantine? Is there any artists that you've been like really into? Obviously somebody that I'm sure you'd want to work with in the future.
Yeah. I think that Tanner just texted me. Shout out Tanner. But I've been listening to a lot of Denzel Curry is an artist that I really have been liking lately. You know, my roommate, he's been showing me a lot of different kinds of music that I have never even heard before. You know, both my roommates have, actually. And I think that, you know, I've been listening to Flying Lotus lately. You know, I've been listening to more than I used to, you know, different kinds of music. You know, I'm friends with this artist called Pseudonymous. He's really good.
Sounds like you're great friends.
Yeah, pseudonymous. It's a hard word, pseudonymous. But it's that's not what I call him. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But he's good. He's really good. I've been listening to, you know, I've been going, the Judas and Black Messiah album, with the Nipsey Hussle, Jay-Z. That whole album and that movie was awesome, and that whole album was awesome. I really liked it. That's probably my favorite album that's came out yet. You know, like this far this year, probably. And then what was the other part? Oh, what? Am I high?
I think that probably. I mean, but I think you answered it. But
I answered it, right? I think I did. I feel like I answered.
Yeah, you answered the question just fine. I don't think there was.
I blacked out there for a second.
I do ask two-part questions a lot, so I
felt like there was more that I wanted.
But I do have another question, which is interesting, because I remember, I mean, from talking to you the last time, and we talk way more than just on the podcast. Obviously, you talked a lot about DMX being like an inspiration or somebody that you like really liked, and you know, have sampled, especially on the Introvert Extrovert. Is there any artist that you were trying to, I don't want to say emulate, because I'm sure you're not trying, you're your own person. You're not trying to be exactly like somebody, but like,
definitely inspired by it, right?
Yeah, inspired by on these last few projects.
Yeah, I think that, you know, I'd say the things that are influencing me you know, I don't know if I'm trying to sound like these people, but definitely the ones that got in my, you know, I'm like sparked something was definitely that Astroworld album, the Travis Scott album, that I've been listening to the Led Zeppelin a lot. And even back then, they were doing shit when it would sound crazy in the ears and it would mix and you could secure it like it was fucking in the top of your head. Like they could do crazy stuff with the mixing that people still can't do right now in 2021, you know, and you know, that definitely inspired a lot of kind of just worrying about like the smaller details in the song, still thinking about the smaller details. You know, it's hard to get it perfect, and it you know, it's harder than people even know, you know, but you know, I'm getting better at it, and I'm working at it, and I think that I'm, you know, and Led Zeppelin's a big deal reason that I noticed it, you know, and Denzel Curry, like I said, he's inspired a lot. That he's got an album that came out last year with Kenny Beats called Unlocked, and that album, I was like, he is really in there on those verses, doing those little details with the mixing and making sure it's entertaining and it keeps you guessing and it doesn't get boring. And you know, I think, you know, if you're gonna really have your lyrics or you're gonna really be rapping, people can understand what you're saying, you're gonna have to still keep these people's attention who don't hear lyrics or don't listen to it like that. So I think he did that really well.
Yeah, absolutely. Another question here from Greg. Any collabs you have in the works, how does a collab song even get put together? Like, have you reached out to anybody to get them featured on a song? Has anybody reached out to you to be featured on a song? Do you know what that process is kind of like? If you could walk us through.
Yep. So I'm working on a song right now. Don't have a name for it yet, but working on it, and I'm getting a singer. I need a girl singer. If anybody knows, if anyone knows a woman singer, you know, maybe like and there's a certain vibe I'm looking for, but you know, I'm looking for a woman singer for a chorus right now, and I'm also looking for an electric guitarist. You know, so I think the way it kind of goes, I think a lot of times with bigger artists, a lot of it will be like with money. A lot of it will be like, hey, Nicki Minaj, do a song with Jack Harlow, and y'all will make a bunch of money. I think a lot of times with different artists, it'll just be, hey, I want this sound in this part, but I can't make that sound, or I want an electric guitar right there, but I can't play electric guitar, you know, or I want to see how someone else would rap to this, you know, and or I'd want to see how someone else would sing on this, or, you know, it's good if the idea, if it's not forced, and the idea it's not forcing a collab just because politic type shit, you know, that's when it usually works out better. And I'm working on it right now, and because even working with an engineer is collaborating every day. I gotta make sure he understands what I'm saying, you know. And I do have a collab on shout outs. But I do have a collab on 2 on my last album. Actually, the chorus and the last song is a collab, and What Y'all Want. That chorus singing is not me singing. It's actually an artist named Mahasatva. It's a tough name, but he's from Chicago. Yeah, and he's in the chorus. So I've done them in the past, and I want to do them more, but I just don't want to force them. You know?
Yeah, I feel that. I think that's a good point. Like, not forcing, because I know, like, as a, you know, I consume music, but I wouldn't consider myself like, like I know everything about it. I know all the artists. I know every new shit. But like, when I go in there, when I'm looking at somebody's new album, one of the first things I'm looking for is like, okay, does he have any features? Like, who's he done a song with that I might like know? Like,
exactly.
Especially if it's an artist that
and
they
know that, right? And they know that, and it works, you know. But as long as but you just can't. And it's smart if it sounds good, and it's not forced, and it's like, hey, this person actually would sound good on this beat, not just because, hey, my label sent your label $1 million to have the baby rap on this pop song because you know what I'm saying. It
well,
just
isn't he charging like $300K for a verse now? Like,
yeah, and if
that's
I was
pretty
getting charged,
ridiculous.
if someone wants to pay me for a verse, you know, and depending on the price, I'd probably still do it. You know what I'm saying? But for my songs, you know, I don't want to force it. But I think that hopping on someone else's song that is, you know, a good song and I like could only make it better. So
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely, man. So let's talk a little bit more about Willis. So what's that like? You know, obviously it's like a 2.5 pack that you've called it. So like putting that second song together, like where do you find that balance, like where you're comfortable ending the first part and like transitioning into that second part where, you know, you're kind of talking to yourself, you're like, okay, calm down. Like, how do you find that? Like, was that hard for you to like, okay, find that perfect ending for what you're trying to say in the first half of the song?
Yeah, I think that you know, I wanted to do something a little different. I I knew that second song wasn't long, or I knew that second song was structured, was weird. You know, the Spell on You song, right? The Spell on You, it's kind of a song, but it's not really like, it's not structured like an actual normal song. You know, it's not just a chorus and verse, chorus, verse. I knew it was kind of gonna be weird. And I knew a lot of people probably wouldn't just sit there and listen to it unless I kind of tricked them into it. So but I knew it was good because I do like that song. You know, I thought it was a good song, but it's weird maybe for some people. Some people might think it's weird or different, but if they listen to it, they'll like it. You know, if you like that kind of music, you'll like it. You know, 'cause it's not a bad song. So I put at the end, and that beat I use in that Spell on You song. It's the same song as one of my favorite Biggie songs. It's the same sample as "Kick in the Door" by Biggie Smalls. So I had the South Park skit.
Yeah.
Biggie Smalls, Biggie Smalls, Biggie Smalls, and then I wanted the beat to hit right after that. So I was like, I'll make it funny, and you know, if they sit there and they'll listen to the first one, then they'll listen to the second one. And I knew that first one was maybe a little slow, you know, and if I'm only releasing 2 songs, you know, I want you to get a taste of a little, you know, more things that I can do than one. But you know, I don't want to force it either. So I thought putting 2 songs in one and just like having it separate just with the South Park, you know, and really not. It's really just 2 songs, you know. It's really just 2 songs, but just one, and then giving you a little bit of both, showing both things I can do, you know, too.
So then why not release it as 2? I'm not trying to like criticize her here. I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah. Why not release it as 2 songs? Because the second song, I think that, you know, it's hard to explain, I guess, but it's like, I liked it better like that. I thought it would sound cool like that. I thought that, you know, putting both into one, it shows on one song, it shows both variations of different things that I've been working on, right? And that it gives you both in one song. And maybe it's not as quick of a listen, but I think if you listen to the whole thing, what I'm trying to do is have people listen to the whole thing and understand both, you know, or appreciate both, you know, not just play 3 quick songs and then be done, you know. Like, now that it's both, you'll remember it more.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. Yeah. You were talking about the South Park sit being kind of funny. Yeah. This is a question, I mean, that I think I've had for a while. Obviously, like when you're making your music, you have, I would say, a couple of songs that a few lines that kind of make you go, you think and you laugh. Do you ever like laugh to yourself or have to stop like after saying something that you know that like me or Greg or Grant or like Trey or like one of the boys is gonna hear and fucking laugh. Because when I think about that shit for the podcast, I'm like, I make myself laugh with stupid shit like that.
Yeah, totally. There's been songs and lines that I knew maybe one of my friends would love, or two of my friends would love way more than anyone else. But and then I think of it, I'm like like I have a dumb line in the last I got bars. That's granola. My flow's sick. That's Ebola. And me and Greg and Grant would say that shit all the time, just fucking around. And I was like, no, I'm actually gonna put it in a song. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna try to make it sound as cool as I can, but I actually put it in a song. Love it. But yeah, and you know, and that's, you know, I want people to like that. That's, you know, that's who I really care about. And, you know, I want them to like it, and I want them to, you know, there's little shout outs to everybody, or and at least in my mind, you know, even if they don't get it, you know, things that at least they inspired a line or two. Everybody, you know.
Absolutely. For anybody listening to this after the fact, we have another comment here. Of course, Biz released the 2.5 pack, couldn't ever finish a 6-pack. Shots fired from our guy Grant.
I think I fired shots at Grant last time I was on here, so
you definitely did.
Maybe I deserve a shot.
You know what? Actually, if we go behind the scenes, I think when I recorded with Grant, we had to like re-record something so he could respond to you. I think we had to do that. But that was really
perfect.
Really, really funny. Fuck, I had a question and I forgot it. Thanks, Grant.
Thanks a lot, Grant. Fuck you, Grant. Whatever shit I said last time, I don't remember what I said, but whatever I said, I still mean it, because whatever you just did.
Okay, so obviously, so you are the voice of my intro and outro music. Two wonderful songs that I thoroughly enjoy. When is a brew party getting a shout out in one of your songs, dude? Like,
wow,
what the hell?
Wow, let's I could throw the brew party stamp on a cover.
I'm all for it.
But yeah, I appreciate that, Grant. I appreciate the preparation. But we can get a brew party shout out. We can give a brew party shout out. I love that I'm the intro, and
I love it. It came from the pain and made it out of it.
Sometimes I forget. I just think, oh, Andy's got a podcast dropping, and then I'll jump on it, and I'm like, oh wait, I know that motherfucker.
Well, that was awesome. Well, it was awesome because you're like, you reached out to me. You're like, hey, I think you should use this. Like, I think it'd be perfect. And I was like, give it to me. I'm all for it.
Yeah,
I'm all for it. So I actually remember my question. So
yes. All right, let's go.
One thing that, I mean, you were known for is we'd go out to the bars. We'd have a good time. Maybe before we were 21, doesn't matter. But, you know, back in Champaign, and then I know you did this when you were at Ball State too. But just getting drunk and just coming home and just like freestyling. Are there any of those lyrics? Like, I know you said your flow is Ebola or whatever that you used in a song. Any of those lyrics that you came up with when you were just like hammered that you may have remembered that you used in one of your songs?
Totally. Yeah, there's been a lot, especially in maybe not so much in the last few songs, but in the Introvert Extrovert. On a lot of those songs, there's something that I just made up when I was rapping fucked up with my friends, or in the shower rapping to myself, being weird, one or two of those lines, and probably half those songs definitely came, and and it'll probably keep happening if it's good, if I like it.
Absolutely. So do you, like, when you listening back to Happening, do you like laugh at the LeVar sample you guys used? Because I do every fucking time. Like,
I love that LeVar sample.
That's so great.
I was at my aunt's house, and I heard the LeVar sample. I heard the LeVar video, and that shit got me fired up. And I had been at that time I had been reading or like audio books when I was writing that about
You're reading audiobooks?
I was listening to someone read me a book, and because I don't know how to read, and but I was doing a lot. I was listening to a lot of I was trying to get motivated. I was trying to motivate myself at the time, and I was listening to like motivational books. You know, trying to get myself going, speak things to existence. You know, speak things to existence. And LeVar would always say, "I'm gonna speak it to existence." You know, and in that video, that was like the epitome of him. Like I spoke it to existence. I knew this was happening before I was happening. And in that song, that beat, like even if you listen to the girl singing at the very beginning, the little sample of the girl singing, a little kid singing, Shirley Temple singing, it's talking about that too. If you listen
some say I'm born to fly. I'll be a pilot too.
Yeah, like she's just talking about like what she wants to become.
To it so many. Yeah. No, I love that. I fucking love that. That's one of that might be your favorite song. My favorite song that you've done yet. I think it's great. Obviously, I use it every goddamn week. Are there any other fun samples that you have coming up that you can kind of tease for anything you're releasing? Or I mean, obviously you can keep it secret if you want.
I got I'm sampling on the next song this song that I'm working on right now. You know, hope as long as it turns out how I like it, hopefully you'll hear it. But it's sampling Grapevine by Marvin Gaye. Heard it through the, but it's cool and it's hip hop. But it's still a hip hop beat, and it's really cool. It's really cool. I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be awesome.
So you were talking earlier, quickly, I'm going to ask you a couple more questions about music, then we're going to talk a little bit of sports, tie in some sports to this.
Let's do it. Why not?
So
I need to talk Atlanta hoops.
Yes, that's what we're going to get into.
We'll get to that.
For sure. So you mentioned, like usually you like to hear the beat or like hear like something and then kind of write to that. Have you ever had a song where, you already had a topic or already knew what you were going to say before you necessarily heard the beat you were going to be putting it over? And like, how hard is that to kind of like piece that together, like with the correct flow and all that stuff?
Totally. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a little bit of that every time for me. I think that usually, I think that when I do it, at least starting off, a topic is kind of what I start with, or like maybe not a topic, but like an idea, and sometimes I have lyrics that feel like the beat, like that feel like that's what I wanted when I wrote it. That's what I wanted to sound like on that beat. This is the beat I need to use those lyrics on because they go together to me in my mind, right? But sometimes, I'll have a topic and I'll have lyrics written for the topic, and then I need a beat. And I'm like, I don't know what I want these to sound like on what kind of beat. And that's when it gets hard. Because once I find the beat, then I got to find the flow. And then I got to try to say all the things that been trying to say before I found that beat. So then, then you got to do some mixing and matching and flipping and creating and trying different things, trying different flows, trying different, maybe you got to sing, maybe sing whatever, you don't know. It just kind of, it's hard to explain maybe, but I don't know if I'm explaining it right at all. But
you're the expert.
Right. I don't know if I'm explaining it where anyone can understand what I'm saying, but but that's kind of how it is. That's how I think of it.
All right, man. Let's do a quick plug for this. So where can we find all of your stuff? I mean, it could be social media, it could be all of your music, all of that good stuff. Willis 2.5 pack out now.
Yes. So Willis Hollow came out not too long ago, like at the beginning of the year, very end of the last year. So both of those are out. The last album's out, all major platforms. So that means Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, all the Amazon. It's also they're all on YouTube. So even if you don't pay for any streaming service at all, you're one of those crazy people, you can still find it on YouTube.
We're looking good. Thank you, Griff.
Appreciate
that.
See.
Appreciate it. But yeah, so do you have a favorite out of these 4 that you've, or I guess 4.5 that you released so far?
I don't think I do right yet. Maybe I'll see. But right now they're so still new to me because before I release it, I've heard it 1,000 times. At least.
Do they get old really fast?
Yeah,
dude?
or not old, but by the time you guys have heard it, I want to do something else. I want to hear something new, or I want to make something new. Just because I've been listening to Hollow and Dos Pies and Willis and and Spill on You and Want Me to Lose. I've been listening to those for a while before you guys hear them, and I've listened to, even if it's not that long of a period of time, I've listened to it a lot of times over and over, just trying to get it right. Just trying to fix little things that are fucked up with it. So I don't have a favorite right now, but maybe by next year or something.
Maybe. Yeah, it's cool if you don't. We like them all. They're all good. They're all great songs. You're doing big things. Check him out wherever you get your
music.
Check
it out.
Just Biz80.
2 songs.
Hold on.
2 songs at a time.
Check this out. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Biz80. Biz80. Help him get his follower count up. We need that. You can find a bunch of great music. He's got big things coming. So let's talk about what we teased a little bit. I mean, this season, so we're Illini Hoops.
History in the happening.
History in the making. They're currently ranked number 4 in the nation.
I've been rocking this all day.
Oh, that's fire. That's so fire. That's sick. Yeah. So I remember before this season started, Nick texted me and he goes, "Is this team for real? Are they good? Or am I going to get my hopes up? Or are they going to break my heart?" I said, "I think they're for real. I think they're good." And
they're good.
They are. So, they have, they are currently 17-6. They're coming off a win over Wisconsin. Wisconsin almost came all the way back. Dimitri Trice just went dummy in the last minute and a half. And just was.
I can't even blame anyone for that.
He could not miss from 3. They're preparing for number 2 Michigan tomorrow. And Michigan is
Io going to be back.
According to my sources, Io is back tomorrow. My inside Illini sources, who you
got
are.
Sources?
I got sources.
Okay. I don't have any inside Illini sources.
Chris Broussard says sources. I was told Io was only going to miss 2 games. So I would guess he would be back with a mask on.
If we got masked up Io against Michigan.
I don't know. If we look if we're just, let's preview that game real quick. Io's averaging 21, 6, and 5. He's the first player since Evan Turner, so it's about 11 years to put up numbers like that. He's put his name in the conversation for Player of the Year, obviously against Luka Garza from Iowa, who had another great game last night for the Hawkeyes against Ohio State. But I mean, if we're talking Illini, he's really what makes Illinois go. They've looked pretty good in the 2 games without him. They beat Nebraska by 16 and they get a win on the road in Madison against Wisconsin without him. What I think is Adam Miller is going to have to get more shots. I didn't really like
Adam Miller's got to step up. I think Io being gone, and take everything I say with a grain of salt. I'm not the biggest sports guy ever, okay? But to be honest, I like sports, okay? But I'm not good at sitting here and watching every game every day. That's what I got friends like Grant and Andy for, But and Greg, I got friends that do that. I like to watch the teams that I like. I like watching Illinois basketball. I like watching the Bears. And that's about all I really feel super passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
But if Illinois basketball gives me anything to root for, I will root for them, all day, every day. And I think that I think that Io being gone will. I mean, I've seen DeMonte stepped up, Adam Miller stepped up, and I think Trent Frazier. He's always going to be, consistent on D, inconsistent on offense. But that's that's what we need. We need that. I mean, obviously, consistency on offense would be good, awesome. But like, if their defense is locked in, their offense is going to come because they're too fast. They're too fucking fast.
They're going to come fast on offense, ladies and gentlemen.
They're going to come real fast.
But so against ranked teams this year, if we look at both of these, teams. Illinois is 4-3 against teams ranked in the top 25 this year. Michigan is 6-1. They have also won their last 12 home games. This is going to be a game in Ann Arbor. They're very good. Hunter Dickinson will probably win Big Ten Freshman of the Year at the center position. That's going to be a great matchup for Kofi. But I really think it comes down to, is Io DeSunmu playing for the Illini or not? Because he is a difference maker. Right. We get to a comment here. Once the tournament comes, Kofi will start to get a fair whistle. It happens every time once the officials know way more people are watching the game. I mean, I hope so. I mean, we heard the broadcast.
But honestly, he's got to be he's got to be hitting free throws in the tournament, though. He's got
the whole team has to hit free throws, Nick. Yeah. Like, you're talking about that loss to Michigan State. You shoot 55% from the free throw line. You miss 15 free throws. That's the game. That's the game there.
If we hit free throws, we might have only had 3 losses.
It's the same as the Missouri game.
Maybe.
It's
2
the
or 3
same
losses.
As the Missouri game. You shoot 30%.
Yeah, Missouri was the same reason.
But I mean,
we lost the same exact thing. Rutgers was the same thing, I think.
Yeah. I will say Michigan State, Illinois didn't rebound the ball. Michigan State was elite on the offensive glass. Also, I mean, they just didn't want to play defense. They feel like sometimes they don't get up at the beginning of the game, and they kind of just feel like, all right, we're one of those teams that can flip the switch, which I do think they are. But come tournament time, like, they're going to have to. I do think they can go all the way. Currently projected as a 1 seed.
Yeah,
I'm all in on Final Four if they're a 1 seed. If they do not have to face Baylor or Gonzaga, that I'm all in on Final Four. I think
if we get a 1 seed, we have a really good shot to make it to the Final Four.
Over under 0.5 technical fouls for DeMonte against Michigan. I'm going to take the over. I think it's going to be scrappy.
It's going to be a bloodbath. I mean, it's going to be mean.
I mean, if you watch the Wisconsin game, fucking Alondo Tucker, the assistant coach for the Badgers, was getting in.
I like that. I love
it.
I like that this fucking team is mean, dude. I like that this fucking team is mean because, dude, Illinois basketball should be good. It should stay good, and they should be playing with a little bit of something. Those fucking John Gross teams, they played with no balls sometimes, bro. They played with and not all of them
played with toughness and togetherness.
But once Underwood came, they might be a little bit. DeMonte might be getting a little too fired up sometimes. But I like that they almost fight the Hawkeyes in the fucking Hawkeye game. I like that shit. I think the fans like that
favorite.
Shit. Yeah, I love watching.
Quickly, while we have Grant here, let's
go.
Rank the most punchable faces on the Iowa Hawkeye basketball team. I think number 1 is Connor McCaffrey. 2 is Fran. That's interchangeable there.
I think Fran, that video that Illinois posted where Io's hitting that 3 and Fran's in the back, like Io's doing this and Fran's getting pissed off yelling at somebody. I mean, I could jizz. Fran has the most punchable face in college basketball.
Here's his quote: "Haters don't hate on nobodies." Whatever. Iowa did. Hey, I will give them credit. That was a good win for them.
They've been winning
over Ohio State yesterday. If they're hot, if they are hitting threes, they're dangerous. It's their defense that just doesn't. I don't enjoy it.
If you hit threes for 8 games in a row, or is that how many games it is in the tournament? 8 games, or what is it?
5.
It's only 5,
right?
And the NCAA tournament?
I mean, you got to win the first, you got to win the second, Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four, 6. You got to win 6.
6 games. Yeah. I mean, if they can be hitting threes for 6 games in a row,
I mean,
but have we seen him do that yet?
No. They shoot at a high clip, but I do think I don't have the stats pulled up in front of me, but as far as the Big Ten goes, like Illinois is right up there with Iowa as far as 3-point percentage goes, and like we've seen, like you've seen
I never think of Illinois as that good of a 3-point shooting team.
No, I mean they have the number one 3-point shooter in the nation by percentage, but
that's crazy.
Absolutely. So, but if you think about like the tournament from years past, like there are those teams that have those one guy that have that one guy that's just like able to will them to these victories and take them. Like look at UConn with Kemba Walker those years ago.
Right.
I think Io DeSunmu could
be that guy.
Very similar.
When he's got that especially against college athletes. Everyone's athletic, but your mind's got to be what makes you great. You know, especially at that level. You know, and I think Io's got that mindset. And the only time I've seen him struggle at the end of a game is when he's got his nose broken. You know what I'm saying? So,
fuck that Sissoko dude. That fucking dirty bitch.
Yeah, dude. The dude.
And then Tom Izzo. Oh yeah, it was a street fight. It's a college basketball game. It's not a fucking street fight.
Yeah. I mean, you got the best player in the country's nose broken. Ratings are down.
Guard play
in the tournament. I mean, Grant's been telling me this since 8th grade. Not really, but
freshman year.
And we got good guard play.
Great guard play.
Good guard play.
He's gonna have to.
I think Butler and us got really good guard play.
Baylor, is that who you mean?
I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. Baylor, my bad. Baylor, not Butler. They got Gerard Butler, or what's that guy's name? Butler.
Jared Butler. So yeah, I mean, you're close.
I was close. That's where I was going. But they got good guard play. We got good guard play.
What would I always tell you to win in the tourney? Illinois has.
They definitely got better guard play than Iowa. But Iowa can shoot. But we can shoot.
They can shoot. I mean, it's just a matter like we play different styles.
We play defense.
It's can you get into them defensively? Can Illinois rebound the basketball and not allow their opponent to attack the offensive glass? Can they not go cold? I mean, obviously you saw with that awful shooting performance against Michigan State where they're shooting 30%. Or 35, 36, like what's the difference? Like they're just not hitting shots. Like I think that comes down to it too. There will be fans at the NCAA tournament. I mean, 25% capacity, so not a lot.
I mean, how much are those tickets going to be?
Expensive. I'm very sure of that. Yeah. So Io has played his last game in Champaign. As sad as that is, he's going to go to the NBA. I mean, Brad Underwood's already said he needs to go to the NBA. I can't do anything.
Right. I saw him say that. Yeah.
So hopefully, we get a deep NCAA tournament run from the Fighting Illini. Here's my question: should Kofi Coburn come back next year?
I think he should.
And put on a National Player of the Year campaign of his own next year.
Right. Because if he comes back, he's going to be a star. He's going to be Luka. You know, he's going to be Luka. You know, would you rather start your team with Io or D? Shit, we'll see after the tournament. I've never seen Io in a tournament before, but if this man can do things in the tournament, I mean, he's just up there with D to me. If he can make any history right now, but I think Kofi should come back. I think that if there's parts of his game that seem amateurish still to me, like he's really good, right? But I think that he's got he's still young in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like what? I know he's an older guy, maybe for a junior, he's like 21 or something. But come back, and then I think we're gonna get that transfer kid from Texas Tech,
Damari Burnett. Hopefully we're really close on him. They are in the mix. We have a couple 4-star recruits that are Illinois in the top 3-4. As well, yeah. So it's close, man. But
if we get that kid, we got, and don't we have a Hutch or something hurt? I don't know what's up with him. Some
Hutcherson. Yeah. He's hurt,
I mean,
so he'll be available next year.
He'll be back. Grandison's good. Andre will be good. Cabello will be good. Adam Miller will be good. If Kofi comes back, we have that team. That team's good.
Yeah. Oh,
That
I
team's
think
really
they're
good.
no, they're. I mean, look at Curbelo almost had a triple double.
Yeah, he's gonna get
the
one
other night. Adam Miller,
Very good
he
one.
comes back. He's gonna be.
He's gonna be good.
I don't know if I want to say the next IO because I feel like their games are a little different. But
He's way different than IO, but he's gonna be good.
He's gonna be that number one scorer. He's gonna fill that role. For this question from Greg, for me, would you rather start your team with IO or D? I mean, I think IO. Like, if we look, D Brown is an all-time Illini, obviously a part of that team that's going to go down in history in 2005. If we're looking purely stats for D Brown's career, he averaged 13.2 points, 4.9 steals. 4.9 assists, essentially 5 assists a game, and three rebounds. IO for his career is at 16 points, 3 assists, and 4 boards. So, I mean, pretty close there. But, I mean, you look at what he's done this season.
And this is the best. I mean, the Big Ten is crazy.
21 points a game, 5 assists, 6 boards. Like, I think I pick IO here. Although, I mean, God, it's so nostalgic not to say D Brown. Like, I just remember being a kid and watching those Illini teams. And
D Brown, he took us so far, you know. And IO's got the better hair, though. IO's got the better hair.
I think IO has the better hair. At the time,
I think IO.
D Brown had the look. D Brown had the headband and the and the jersey pop.
The jersey pop is
the
legend.
high socks, but I think Io's got the better hair. I'll say that.
Yeah, Io's got to have the better hair. I mean, Cabello's going to the next D Brown. Yeah, I think Cabello. I think he's gonna be good. I think Cabello's gonna be really good.
I love Cabello. He's super fun to watch. I think my thing with him
pisses me off.
He take care of the basketball. He goes a little too fast sometimes, but when it's right and when it's beautiful.
I mean, it makes me want
to. It is awesome. I think he's going to be a very good player. I think he's going to be a 4-year, not 4-year starter. I think he'll start at point guard next year.
I think he'll see all 4 years. I think that he's going to be legend.
He'll go down as an all-time great.
I think he's got the potential to be, you know, something big. Something big, you know, because I think people like him. He got the headband, he's got the afro, you know, he's got the cool way he plays. You know, people are gonna like him. Like, I like him just watching him. Even when he fucks up, I still like him. You know, no matter what, I'm like, I like that. Fuck, I don't even know why. You know, he's got that thing about him. So
no, he's smooth.
And he's good.
Even in high school, like if you haven't seen this, go look up his high school tape. He was playing against Sierra Canyon, where LeBron James Jr. plays last year, and he like went through somebody's legs and took it like all the way down the court for a layup. Right. Like he's smooth.
You just got to get more comfortable in the college game. But I think he's gonna be just as talented.
Already know Beatty has some fire IO Illini bars. We need those. Absolutely need you to shout out some IO.
IO bars will come if we get. As long as we don't poop in the tournament, just shit it up in the tournament.
I don't think they will. I think they're going to do something. I think they're going to do something. I really do. I know I'm biased. I know I'm a huge fan, but
they're alpha dogs. Like, they're not like little bitches like Trent Meacham was, or you know what I'm saying? Like, it's no hate to Trent Meacham. I got his autograph on a hat when I was a kid, you know. But like, they pooped in the tournament. What happened? Like, they lost to Miami first round. I remember watching that as a kid.
I mean, Trent Meacham wasn't on that team when.
Trent Meacham. Dimitri McCamey?
No. So Trent Meacham's team lost to Dayton or somebody like that, or maybe it was Western Kentucky, but as a 5.
Trent Meacham's the news guy.
As a 5,
news guy.
But they were missing Chester Frazier.
They lost to Western Kentucky.
They lost to Western Kentucky. Yeah, there was
first
a 5
round.
versus 12. It was Brandon Paul, DJ Richardson, that team that lost to Miami on that bullshit out of bounds thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, you take anything from that. There's a new rule in NCAA basketball. It's not new at this point, but they took a rule. From that. Like, you can review those plays inside of 2 minutes. So one question we'll get to here: does Frazier come back with a COVID year of eligibility? I could see it, actually. I mean, he's awesome defensively. obviously a knockdown shooter, but like with his size, like does he translate to the NBA? I don't know. Maybe he's more of a European guy, something like that. So I could see him taking another year, breaking more records. Are we happy with the Sweet 16 or is a Elite 8 at the minimum?
All right.
I don't know. I think
let's do Trent Frazier. Can I do Trent Frazier and then let's do this one?
Yeah.
Trent Frazier. So if Trent Frazier comes back and we get that Amari Burnett kid, who's our starting five?
Curbelo, Miller, Frazier. You don't go. I don't know if you go for a guard. I don't know if you go. Yeah, you don't go 4 guards.
Especially in the Big Ten with Michigan.
I mean, do you get Kofi back, or is it a Georgie Coleman Hawkins thing? Where does Luke Goody, the freshman?
Let's say we get Kofi and Amari. Let's say we get most biased, most best.
I mean, but if you're Brad Underwood, you don't tell Frazier he can't come back.
You can't.
I mean, if you're talking about all-time Illini, Frazier is one.
But do you think he's going to come back?
I don't think he's coming back. I don't think so. But I think it's on the table. I think it's a good question. I think it's on the table.
I think it's a good question. But I think he's going to Europe, making some bread, and getting a good degree.
Are we happy with the Sweet 16 or is it Elite 8 at the minimum? I mean, if you're a 1 seed, are you happy with the Sweet 16? I mean, I think you're happy as an Illini fan. You're happy to be there. You're happy to actually be in the tournament.
I want to hang something at the State Farm Center.
Yeah.
And I think an Elite 8 is minimum with this team. This team's too good. And I think that if we're a 1 seed, 2 seed, if you're a 2 seed, you should be the Elite 8. If you're one of the best 8 teams, you should fucking be there. I know the tournament's crazy. I know the tournament gets fucking weird. But if we're clutch, if we're playing the way we should be playing, and at the end of the games, IO, is being IO. I think that I don't think there's many teams that can stop us when we're locked in. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, I think the biggest thing with this team, you never thought this as a kid, but these are college kids. Their mental is different. They got, and I think this team is mentally strong. But I think it's hard. It's hard to be fucking 18 and a starter on the top 4 team in the country in the NCAA tournament with the whole state watching you at least. So
yeah, I mean, think about it. They've been quarantined. They're not going to see their families at all. They're in their apartments or dorms and going to practice. I mean, they're not really doing anything. So it's got to be hard. Shout out to all of them. Another comment here: if Kofi leaves, they probably need a grad transfer to big to pair with Georgie. Do you go a Georgie and Grandison lineup there? I mean, Grandison's done good things for them at the 4 in his starts this year.
I would prefer not to, because I think we're small. I think we're small with Miller and Curbelo. Miller.
I think you could go Burnett. If you get Burnett, you go Burnett. Okay, Curbelo is the 1, Burnett at the 2, or you interchange him and Miller at the 2 or the 3, or you just go 3 guards and then Grandison and Georgie. I mean, I don't hate that. It's not a lot of size.
I guess there is I heard there's some kid who decommitted from Michigan State. That's all I really know. Who's tall? That's all I know.
Yeah, from Canada. So yeah, they're in on a few guys. I mean,
there's some guys. We can't expect to have anyone to replace Kofi, dude. We've never seen a human look like Kofi ever. You know what I'm saying? Like he's Shaq. He's literally bigger than Shaq. He's bigger than Shaq was in college. You know what I'm saying? We're lucky. And hopefully he comes back. I think he can go to the NBA and be a star if he comes back. And I don't know what exactly they want, but if he works in that mid-range jumper, maybe, and he can start hitting that.
Right. So that's the thing. That's going to be the thing with Kofi, is because the NBA, they moved away from that dominant big, and he is money on the inside, obviously, but he's going to have to work on that.
Because maybe he'll never be hitting threes, but if he can hit his free throws in that mid-range game,
he has 15 or 16 double-doubles this season. Like, somebody in the NBA is going to take a flyer. Somebody's going to take a chance on him. It's just a question of, does he come back for 1 year, develop a little bit more? Because I think this staff could do great things with him. And if he does,
this staff's unbelievable.
national
I hope
awards.
I hope we all appreciate that, because I mean, just seeing how that weight trainer, I don't really know too much about him, but just seeing how much he's getting motherfucking in shape. Oh my God. Crazy.
Oh no, Fletcher, he's insane. He's absolutely insane. He's absolutely insane. This comment here, Monte could come back too, technically. Yeah. DeMonte Williams could. Like, I don't know. I have no idea what this roster is going to look like next year.
No, we could be top 5 team. We could be not top 25 team. It's so.
I don't know about not top 25. I think they're top 25 no matter who comes back.
I mean, I get so ever since Eric Gordon didn't come here when I was a kid, I get so and everyone can transfer whenever they want, So
anybody could. We don't know.
Right, anybody could. I don't know.
Are we gonna see any fresh out? My sources tell me that nobody is currently planning on that, but you don't know. I mean,
did you know Alan Griffin was going to leave?
Alan Griffin left. He's leading Syracuse in scoring. We're still top 5 in the country. Tevian Jones is at Southern Utah, averaging 17.5 points per game. Good for him. I'm honestly, I'm glad it worked out for both of them. When Griffin left, I was like, oh man, like this get bad. Obviously, he's our best 3-point shooter. You bring in a guy like Adam Miller, you bring in a guy like Curbelo, you don't really even notice he's gone. Biz, this is
and Grandison too.
And Grandison too. I mean, and then we're Hutcherson, like he's a knockdown 3-point shooter as well. Hopefully they all get back healthy. Benjamin Bosman's Verdonk will hopefully be 100% healthy next year as well. I mean, you just don't really know. But for now,
we have no idea. We have no idea. Hopefully,
it's national championship. It's final.
Yeah, right now we can't really worry about
what the ceiling is for this.
We got to appreciate what's going on, because we haven't had a team this good.
And I mean, tomorrow, if
I was a little kid,
yeah, it's 2005. This is the best team since 2005. Yeah. That's not. I'm not saying they're better than the 2005 team, but it's talent-wise, they're the best.
It's the best team since then. It's not as good as that team, obviously, in record and shit, but like. It's a harder league right now.
It is. It's a different game. It's a different game. We'll just say that.
So different. It's been a long time. It's hard to compare them. We shouldn't be comparing them. It's just they have the same city that they're in, Champaign, Illinois.
Repping the same colors on. Repping the same university.
But they got repping the same school, but they got a different AD, got a different coach, got a different.
Did you see the picture they did where they did that? See the picture they did, the homage to the 2005 team with with his arm out. You got Trent, and it was great. That was awesome.
Nostalgia City. It's been Nostalgia City all season for me.
Yeah, no, I love it. I watch every game. I'm like, we should not lose. Like it's been a long time. It's been a long time since I have thought that. Like, hey, we probably shouldn't lose this game.
We gotta appreciate it, because it was bad. I mean, and like. It was bad for a while, man. It was those teams were not good. I mean, they gave us. If you're not making the tournament and you're Illinois, it's gonna be hard to keep the fans super, super committed. And you felt people stop caring, dude. That was tough. So
yeah, there's just a whole different vibe around the program since Underwood.
A whole different vibe that when I wear Illinois stuff, when I say where I'm from, it's a different vibe when Illinois basketball is good. And I think it's important for Champaign, and
it's important for the state, I think.
Yeah, and the whole state.
A good basketball team.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Biz, let's close this out. It's been awesome.
All right.
Episode 50.
It's been great.
Of the Brew Party Podcast, the one and only, the return of the BIZ, the notorious BIZ, fresh off of his release of his new music, his new 2.5-pack, Willis. Nick, let's plug your shit one more time. Tell everybody where they can find it, all of your music, all your social media, all that good stuff.
Yep. So Biz80, BIZ80, all major streaming. So Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music. If you can get music there, it's probably there. YouTube, it's on there. Amazon, Google, whatever. Crazy people are listening to music on those streaming platforms. You guys get them too. Of course you do. And so Willis just dropped. Willis, 2.5 songs. Hollow just dropped 2 songs. And Introvert, Extrovert, and more's on the way. More coming.
More on the way. Look out for more big things coming from Biz80. He is next up in the rap game, out of Chicago, out of Champaign, currently in Chicago. The 217's favorite rapper, Biz80, Biz80. Thank you so much for joining me, man. This was an awesome conversation about your music, just anything in general, and of course the Illini that we have.
We had to.
Guard Eli Brooks and Isaiah Livers and Hunter Dickinson tomorrow, and hopefully we have a chance up.
We got a watch party tomorrow. Or what? You got things to do tomorrow?
I'll be at work, so I'll be serving some tables, slanging some wangs, slanging some beer, and watching the Illini tomorrow. So come to beat up the Champaign.
Be crazy in there. That'll be fun.
I hope so. I hope they win, but I don't think it's like the end of the world
if we don't.
If they lose.
I think if we win, though, we could be 1 seed.
I think they're a 1 seed if they win or lose. I think even if they lose, if they win
Ohio State, you think?
Yeah, I think they're 1. So we can talk about this all night. So I'm closing. I'm shutting this off.
All right, let's get out of here.
Party Podcast, episode number 53. So this is the live stream. The video is available now on YouTube, youtube.com/The Brew Party, on our Facebook at The Brew Party Podcast, on our Twitter at The Brew Party. Follow us on Instagram at The Brew Party. The audio for this will be posted tomorrow at some point, hopefully in the morning, maybe a little bit later than that. We'll see how long it takes me to get this all edited. So that'll be on all major podcast platforms, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Just search The Brew Party: Apple, Spotify, Google, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Pocket Cast, Castbox, all of that good stuff. The Brew Party is there. If that's too many words, just go to www.thebrewparty.com. It's got all of our episodes, all of our social media links, places to listen, all of that good stuff. Biz, it's been a hell of a time.
Listen to The Brew Party, you fucking bitches.
Listen to The Brew Party. Listen to Nick's new music. Listen to Biz80's new music he has out now. More stuff coming. Thank you so much for being here. This is The Brew Party Podcast. We are out.
Adios.